Hello YouTube, LD50 here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about an updated melee Amara Facepuncher Phaseslam build. We've had the purple tree out now for a couple of months, and I thought I'd do a quick video just explaining how I incorporate elements of that tree into the Phaseslam Facepuncher build. I will leave a link to the original Facepuncher build and also to a video that is describing some issues that are surrounding the new purple action skill element, Cold Hearted, which does not work correctly with some of Amara's skills. But as you may remember from one of the previous videos, this is a Facepuncher build and it relies on the Facepuncher and a white elephant artifact. You can use a stone version, you could use an elemental projector version, a knife drain, a cut purse, as long as it's a white elephant, and try to look for some sorts of passives that might help the build, so melee damage, action skill, cooldown rate, area of effect damage, that type of thing is worth having. We tend to use for this build, for mobbing, the Frozen Heart, and for bossing we tend to use the Brawler Ward. Grenade wise, we use something with an action skill element, action skill and elemental damage bonus, so this is quite a good one because it deals cryo damage and bonus radiation damage. And then comm wise, we are using a breaker comm for most of the heavy lifting in the mob situations, but if we go on to do bossing, we'll probably swap over to the spiritual driver. Because we're using the breaker comm here, we're going to choose a stone type white elephant, and we're going to set our action skill to whichever element we desire. In this instance I've got it set to fire, so we will in effect be doing fire, cryo from the Nova from the Frozen Heart, radiation and cryo from the grenade here. We're imbuing our melee damage with shock, so the Facepuncher will also get shock damage, our breaker comm here is giving us extra splash damage and melee damage. So I think we're managing to get four elements all together there. We're getting the fire, cryo, radiation and shock. And then going through the build. So it is a fairly typical blue tree, going all the way down to the bottom to Avatar. Foregoing violent tapestry, I find that particularly when using the spiritual driver comm, this can increase the dot damage too much. You do have to be careful when you're playing. For environmental elemental damage like barrels, etc., they can down you when you're least expecting it. So I'm avoiding violent tapestry, but we are having 5 out of 5 and do harm. Fast hands for the reload speed, transcend for the critical damage from the white elephant sticky bombs, more reload speed here, point in ascendant for bonuses to our action skill augment, laid bare and wrath, which are the debuff and bonus damage skills that you need. 3 out of 3 in Awakening to improve our rush stack effectiveness, just a single point into Remnant for the overkill damage, and all the way down to Avatar. So it's fairly standard blue tree. Red tree, we need to get down as far as Illuminated Fist. I wouldn't put any points into Anima. I like to put points into Infusion because that gives us elemental damage to our shots. However, this skill does not work with the cryo element. I did mention that at the beginning of the video, Cold Hearted, so we don't use Cold Hearted with this build. We just use either a Blight Tiger, Soulfire, or our base shock default action skill element. 1 5 out of 5 into Tempest to boost elemental damage as well. and it will obviously boost shock a little bit further. Green tree, we want to get down as far as find your center. So I tend to put the points into route to rise. You could put some points into clarity instead if you liked. Might help against dots if using a driver. But I like this to be slightly beefier. Arms deal, giving us increased splash damage, and a point into find your center, which is obviously being boosted by this comm as well, which is now giving us 200% melee damage. This comm is also putting 4 points into jab cross to give us extra gun damage and action skill damage after we melee. And the face puncher does melee damage. We'll demonstrate that quickly now, how that mechanic works. So we'll take off our frozen heart. We'll take off everything except the comm, because what we want to do is we want to show that jab cross is actually working. Our action skill is set to fire, so we should see using the face slam a fire damage number 114k. Now if we shoot with the face puncher, which is classed as melee damage, we should see that face slam damage number increase from 114k 182k. So a large increase in damage from jab cross, which is why I like to use the breaker comm certainly for mobbing areas. For bossing I would use a driver comm because we're not relying on the face slam damage to do the work for us. We're really just relying on Phaseslam to activate anointments. But for mobbing, when we go to Athenas, you'll see that this comm works very well. Finally, the purple tree. We're only going to go down as far as combo breaker here. You can go further, but then you're sacrificing points here. This is a massive increase to damage, and also here, this elemental damage here and the increase to damage here are not really worth giving up, I don't find. So we're going to take 5 out of 5 into heavy rain, which will give us extra splash damage, which will be for the damage from the sticky bombs. 3 out of 3 into go with the flow. Whenever Amara freezes an enemy, she gains increased movement speed and weapon damage, so 20% gun damage. We will be freezing enemies with the Nova from the Frozen Heart. Unweave the Rainbow. Amara deals bonus damage over her tuned element whenever she deals melee damage or splash damage to frozen enemies. So we freeze enemies by using the Frozen Heart shield. That gives us extra gun damage, and those frozen enemies take bonus melee damage anyway, because melee has a 2 or 3 times multiplier against frozen enemies, and these frozen enemies also receive bonus damage of the attuned element. So if we set to fire, we will get bonus fire damage against frozen enemies. Great in a mobbing situation. And here we go, 3 out of 3 into ebb and flow. Whenever Amara kills an enemy with a melee attack, she gains a portion of the damage dealt back as help. It's lifesteal. And as the most of the damage in this build is going to be melee, because the face puncher does melee damage, and any type of slamming is counted as melee damage. Not phase slam itself, but slam. The slam mechanic, slide damage is also classed as melee damage, and also straight up punching like that, you know, that type of damage. But the face puncher itself is also considered to be melee damage. We're going to use our 300 over 90 for most mobbing situations, but for bossing we might want to change over to something like a Phaseslam 300. We'll do that when we go to sort out Grave Ward, and as I talked about here, we'll be using our Frozen Heart, except in the bossing situations where we probably want to use a low-level Brawler Ward and a Driver Com. For most mobbing situations, we're going to be using this ASE Radiation, Anointed Hex Grenade, and finally we'll put on some sort of stone. I might put a Shock Stone on. Yep, I think we'll probably do that to run through Athenas. So that is the skill trees. Blue tree, red tree, green tree, obviously taking Phaseslam. The other thing that we take is Revelation as the augment. The Nova damage, I believe, scales with Mayhem. And the purple tree, we don't use Cold Hearted at the moment, it's bugged. I will leave a link in the description to a video that describes how that is bugged with the skills on the red tree, Infusion and Forceful Expression. So that's the build. I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to go over now to Athenas, and we'll demonstrate some gameplay there in a not too threatening environment, and then we'll most likely go off and do a boss, maybe Graveward. So I'll see you over at Athenas. Welcome back, YouTube. Here we are at Athenas. We've equipped ourselves our 300/90 Facepuncher for mobbing, our Frozen Heart, our Icebreaker, sorry, Rope-a-Dope Breaker, the Shockstone White Elephant, and the Mitosis Hex with our ASE Radiation. Recap of the build that we've just talked about. We're going to run through to Captain Traunt. Beware of barrels in this game. They will give you a hard time.
Enemy ahead.
There we go, short work of the first area. Okay, we've got some kill skills up now.
So much power.
And there we go. Everybody in the second area taken care of.
Energize.
I will move forward.
Massacre! Is that the best you've got? You wanna go? A massive.
There we go, we've worked our way through to Captain Traun. We're going to change over to... I think we'll go with the Phaseslam 300% damage anointment. Let's check, we're going to have shock, we're going to have fire as our action skill element, we're going to have radiation here, we're going to have cryo from the Nova of the Frozen Heart, so we should have plenty of elemental damage to dispatch Captain Traun. Let's move forward. Yeah, he's gone. So yes, there we go. That was the build through Athenas. I think we will head on over to Graveward as well, just to try out a boss. Maybe we'll use the low-level Brawler Ward as well, just to increase our damage. We're not needing to freeze him, so yeah, let's move over to there. So that was Athenas with this build. Run through it very quickly again. We were using the 300 over 90 Facepuncher for the best part, apart from Captain Traun, where we used the Phaseslam 300. We were using a Frozen Heart, we were using our Rope-a-Dope Breaker, we were using our Shockstone White Elephant, and our Mitosis Hex with the ASE bonus radiation. That was our build. That was our Guardian rank. That was our Mayhem level. So we'll head over to Graveward and we'll do a kill on him as well, and then we'll wrap the video up. See you over there in a minute. Welcome back, YouTube. Here we are at Graveward. We're going to jump down and attempt a one-shot on him. We've equipped our Phaseslam 300% anointed Facepuncher, our level 1 Brawler Ward, our spiritual driver, elemental projector, and we have ASE incendiary damage here as well on the hex. So we'll jump down. I'm going to ignore his first phase for the most part. We need to wait for him to present his left arm. And there we go. One shot on Grey Ward with the Phaseslam Amara Facepuncher build. Updated for the purple tree. We just recap on the build quickly. There's the purple tree, making our way down as far as combo breaker, all the way down to the bottom of the blue tree to avatar, just down really as far as illuminated fist on the red tree, and getting down as far as find your center on the green tree. We were using the revelation augment, and we were using any of the elements apart from cold-hearted, which, as we discussed in the build video, is not working with infusion or illuminated fist properly. So that was the build. I do urge you to give it a go. It is an end game build, so you really do need to have a fairly high guardian rank, because you need to get all the way down to groundbreaker to really make this build shine. It's also recommended you get down as far as emergency response, so you can have shield reboot as well, and get down as far as topped off for the action skill cooldown. And obviously invest your points into melee damage, all of the damage perks really, to help you. And it relies on the Facepuncher, and it relies on a flavour of white elephant. So there we go, that's the build. Hope you do try it out. It would be great to get a like on the video as well, and if you do like this content, please subscribe to the channel. I've been LD50, you've been lovely, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.